becoming the instrument that you are. And the good thing about becoming who we are is that it is always there. You don't have to go across the ocean to find it. It's always within, and it's always been. But sometimes we get distracted and living life at the pace that it is today. It is very easy to lose track of what we are, and we get wrapped up in who we are. And by the means of life, let's say we have responsibilities, there's things to take care of. And sometimes these are not just a conscious decision that we made, but sometimes it is just a place that we arrived to, because life is not a straightforward path. And sometimes things happen in life where we just do one thing and it leads to another. And essentially at some point, we'll end up somewhere that we might not recognize ourselves. And that's just life. Sometimes we do have the option to choose where we want to go. But a lot of times, we don't get to choose. We just do things in life and it takes us there. And the law of nature is just like that. Things just flows. The ocean will move the way it does. The air will flow the way it does. And there's no point A and point B. Thing just kind of goes. But what's more important is that where we are right now, we can make a decision about that. We can make a decision where we want to go next. And more importantly, what we do about it. So going back to becoming the instrument that we are, we first have to realize where we came from. Some people are born in the cold, and let's say their instrument are made out of pine trees. And other people comes from the heat, so their instrument is made out of coconut. A coconut tree. And depending on where you come from, our instruments are made from different materials. And who made those instruments is also very different. So the important part here is that the instrument is not the important part, but what we do with it is the important part. Because in today's world, everything is so accessible that what used to be a pine tree from the cold now can exist in somewhere that's hot. Because we can change the condition to meet its necessary ends for it to thrive. You can bring a cactus from the desert to somewhere cold. Bring it inside a house, give it proper watering, lighting, and it'll thrive. Now, what does this mean for us people and human beings is that we're built in a different way. So, for example, I don't thrive in places where it is crowded. Not only that, I don't thrive there, it's just that I don't enjoy being in a crowded place. But some people do. And it's not that I cannot be in a crowded place. I just prefer not to be there. And because I enjoy somewhere that's more tranquil, more peace, and more quiet. But some people don't like that quietness. Some people like the noise and that more energy, to put it that way, in the city. Like, you probably find me somewhere in the forest. Like in terms of where you would find me if I was in nature, is a lake hidden somewhere in the forest. And it's like one of those lakes that you accidentally stumble upon. And you end up realizing how beautiful nature can be. It's like that one of those lakes nobody knows about, and it's just kind of like that special place. That's how I envision myself in a sense of being. But then again, there are people who wants to be the tallest tree, and there's people who wants to be the cherry blossom tree in a desert, the one that stands out. And there's nothing wrong or right about these things. It's just that with every condition comes with its consequences. Like somewhere who is so out in the open attracts a lot of things. So you could say that's fame. You know, they're easy to attract things that are around it. Because imagine a tree that's out in the desert. There's no one there. And if you have tourists that's walking through the desert, all of a sudden you'll see this cherry blossom tree just in the middle of nowhere. And it's like the most beautiful thing that exists because it's so unusual to find a tree like that. And by being there, all of a sudden makes this tree very special because there's no one like it. It's automated. Anyways, so a tree like this out in the desert is very unique. And the fact is that everyone on this planet is unique because of where we came from. There's no instrument that are made the exact same way that we are. Because wherever we started in life, we're built from different materials. And the person who built us are different. And they have their own entire background and things that no one can be identical to because of just how unique and things are, because one person has like a whole history of their own experiences and where they come from, how they build it, the mind state when they built it. So everything is different. So now, where we start is not the important part, but where we end is the important part. Because we all can start from very different places, but how we end is a choice of ours. We can make a decision on how we want to, or at least get close to our own will of how our journey is going to end, because we embark on this journey through life and we can make decisions on how that outcome may or may not come. Thank you. So when it comes to becoming the instrument that we are, the good news is that we are it. We don't have to find it somewhere, find the answer across the ocean or in the clouds or in a meditative state or somewhere. It is, we are it. And when I say me, we, I mean you and I. We are who we are. But it is because of the world we live in right now. There's a lot of distractions and a lot of things that become so accessible that we kind of lose track of who we are. Because if I'm a tree and next to me is like a brighter tree, all of a sudden I imagine, oh, I want to be like that tree. It is tall. It bears a lot of fruits. A lot of people want to eat that fruit. No one wants to eat my fruit. No one wants to sit under my tree. No one wants to climb my tree. You know, it becomes like this blurred life where one is compared to another. And we lose a sense of value of who we are and what value we can bring to the world. Now let's imagine that each and one of us is made out of different material. A guitar that's made out of a coconut tree is going to sound very different from one that's made out of pine tree. And imagine this on a larger scale, that we all come from different places and are built from different materials. But only when we are in tune with our own instrument of who we are is when we can become what we are. Like we can finally share the music with the world. We can contribute our frequency to the world, a unique color to the rainbow. Because let's say a guitar is orange, and suddenly a guitar that's made out of pine tree is burnt orange, and a guitar that's made out of coconut tree is a little bit darker orange. Now we have a whole range of colors. And becoming or tuning ourselves into our own instrument allows us to contribute to that rainbow, aka the world. We can shine ourselves, where we allow ourselves to shine with the world and not, why is that sound? There we go. And ideally, the whole premise of this is that we all have our roots. We all are unique and built different in that way. And it is just a matter of shedding off those layers that we built upon ourselves that is not ours, because of how accessible everything is in the world. And sometimes we lose track. So how do we gain track of ourselves, and how do we come back to our roots? And really, it is very simple, but at the same time very difficult, because again, our roots are always there. Who we are is always there. It's not somewhere else to be found but within. So the difficult part is to realize what it is and become in touch with ourselves, reflect on ourselves. And the easiest part to realize what we are and who we are is to look around you. And usually the place that we stay at, where we reside, a lot of the things that we possess, a lot of the things that we value are within those environments. For example, in my case, wherever I go, I always have like a laptop with me, because I grew up with this laptop, and I feel like there's a reason for that. There's a reason for everything. And if it is not a big laptop, it is a small laptop. But what I do with this laptop is entirely up to me. And if I look at my phone, I always have a bunch of recordings that I do. I don't realize it. I can show you guys here. Like this is just within the year. I can't even open this. But I do like voice memos. See. Those are all the recordings that not even all, this is just like the recent ones that I make. And the weird part is that I don't even realize that I do this, but I do. So a lot of times the things that we are, the things that we do is so close to us that we don't even realize it. And just like how our nose is right above our mouth, when we have bad breath, we don't smell that. It is the person that's right across from us that smells that. So sometimes things are just so close to us that we don't realize, and all it takes is just some reflection and some realization, and then you realize what you are and who you are. And after that, the journey begins on what you want to do with that. But when we become what we are and who we are, we can finally shine and bring our music to the world. We can bring what we are to the world and share that with other people. Because imagine a guitar that's made out of some unique tree that no one has ever heard of before. Perhaps a cherry blossom tree that's on top of the mountain, for instance. A material that is so foreign that no one has ever heard of. And all of a sudden now you have music that's coming out of that material. And it's so unique that it's just bound to be heard. But having unique instrument trying to sound like one instrument, it's not how. We're just so unique in that way that we have to realize how unique we are and what we bring to the world. And really the answer is just that so close that it becomes almost so difficult. And all it takes is just some reflection and realization, and then we'll get there. So let's wrap it up. To become the instrument that we are is to just look around ourselves and realize what we do on a day-to-day basis and what we value, and become the best version of that. And when we do that, we allow to shine and contribute to the world, to leave it in a better place than where we came, or how we came. And essentially, that just contributes to a better life to everyone around us and everyone's to come. And just being around bright people and being around loving people is a much more heartwarming place than being around someone that brings, let's say, pain and agony. Even though that's something that we all experience, but essentially becoming the best version of ourselves allows us to play music that is pleasant to the ears and not instruments that's out of tune and that just screech in our ears and causes pain and agony. Because no one wants to listen to those sound on a day-to-day basis, but more so creating harmony with the universe and allowing ourselves to be a part of that. So that'll wrap up for today's episode. If you made it to this point, I'd like to thank you for being here and spending your time here. I wish you the best. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.